Okay, so welcome to my lunchtime blog space. I decided to talk some shit right now because I have some time and I also have some thoughts. And I feel like these have really started to come, like, to make sense to me. Just because I've, like, done shit and other people haven't. And, for a long time, I spent time trivializing that. I'm basically saying, like, I had all of these lived experiences. And in my mind, I'd be like, everybody goes through this. Everybody feels this way. But that isn't true. It's not true. Some people for sure do. But it's not most people. And it's not everyone. So, I guess I wanted to talk for a second about why purity politics would be important to someone, specifically like poor men. For poor men, this is like most men. They're not like earning over, I don't know, $50,000 or $60,000 a year. And what they want are women who are earning zero, so that they can be the breadwinners. They can make the decisions. They are trying to start a legacy for themselves. These men aren't inheriting anything. They don't have any assets to start with. Now, the reason that purity is important to them is because they want to be able to give birth. They want to have like healthy children, and in the developing world, people don't have access to health care. So the only way to really ensure that someone is like healthy is to assume that they're a virgin. And it's kind of an assumption because rape is very common. Like I met a family the other day. And it was clear, like the husband was self-proclaimed like a Mexican, and the wife had like a brand new baby that she was rolling around the mall or whatever, and I think she had just come from Mexico. So this is like a mail order bride sort of situation, which for a lot of Mexican men makes sense, because like they don't have access to native born women. Because most of those women have access to education. And are in relationships with their peers. Most women who have gone to college end up mating with someone who they went to school with. Most. Not all, but most. Or someone who's friends with someone that they work with. So they end up partnering up with someone who's like in their network in some way. And it makes sense. That's how it's supposed to be. But women with education or like a skilled trade of some sort or like a business, especially attractive women, have like all these opportunities. Like everyone is now a candidate. It could be a rapper. It could be a very regular guy with a regular job. It could be a doctor, a teacher, a neighbor, a trust fund kid. It could be anyone. You don't really know anyone's stories because until you ask them, because most people aren't flaunting their wealth. Like, I never do that. Not that I'm wealthy, but like, honestly, I don't even flaunt my accolades anymore. Oh. Oh. So, Siri, I'm not talking to you. I'm just saying, basically women who have the internet and smartphones can kind of get information and access to really anything. And at this point, even if you come here like yesterday, if you speak English and you can like get a job, you should just get a job. And honestly, like I'm saying, and I've said this so many times before, just slowly work your way up. Having any job for a year will give you enough like street cred or whatever to, you know, get to the next step. And especially if you're like a girl with any sort of ambition to be in a relationship or married, there's so many great guys around. So many. And I think Instagram will have you believing that like the most attractive, most credible dudes are like there's only one of them. And if that one dude doesn't choose you, that it's over for you, and that's just not true. There's so many guys. And most guys who are a part of like the 80% of men who are just like out here working with jobs and accountability, who want families and stuff, they recognize that being a credible member of society means being in a partnership or a relationship of some kind. I've talked about this before, but like poor, lonely men are like the most violent members of society because they have no prospects. Like they don't have any partners to go to, they don't have any money, so they can't buy anything. A poor woman can always get a man because she has a vagina. A poor man can get nothing. And that's the way society works. It doesn't make sense. I feel like for a while I've been trying to understand like the pretty politics among Bay Area men. The weird thing is like they're not even that attractive. Even, I mean, go look at like Fitz the World Traveler or Jim Saw. These men are like 10 times more attractive than any dude who I see walking around in the Bay Area any day, even the guys who are like models. And it's like they're like nicer, richer. It's just like those are the average guys now because through like really evolution, the men who have procreated into the next generation are smarter and they're kinder and they're taller and they're nicer and they're blacker. So like, there's so many dudes now. There's no reason any girl should be in a bad relationship. Imagine that. It's like Tyler really believing that he's a catch. Like, he's a retard with a lot of baggage. It's like, these guys are like they don't understand how society works. I think a large part of it comes from like this numbers game. The whole thing about America is America works for the poor people. Most of the people in the country are living off of credit and credit cards. This is why for a very long time there was this assumption that like white people were like rich. They weren't. They just had credit cards, and like nobody else had credit cards. So they had like, you know, new cars bought on credit. They had college education bought on credit. They had, you know, suburban homes bought on credit. But now the credit has run dry, and they have bad credit, and they have a lot of debt. So even that white privilege is like gone now. And what is left? Because see, that's the thing that I guess no one understood. Like, the people like me were in it for like the Gattacan society. The entire point was to get all the poor dumb people off the planet. At least that's the end game that I was playing. I don't know what everybody else was playing. I was like, I hope that all the ugly poor people never mate and never have children and they just die off. So then the next generation will just have smarter, more attractive people. And we can just all do what we want and be free. But, you know, then immigration, and nobody built the fucking wall, so that's not gonna happen. But, whatever. People do have smartphones. It makes it better. And with a pretty trivial amount of information, you could just move to the developing world and live a pretty good life. So there's that. But yeah, I think you know, the biggest issue that we're having in the society right now, especially in Black America, is the sheer lack of respect and like, it's not empathy, that's not the word I'm looking for. I think respect is a good word for like Black women, and protection. Yeah, because like Black women are being like mothers, they're being like workers, they're being like paying all of the bills by themselves. And the men out here are trash. That's why you see them. There's so many of them, like Black men who are on the street, who are just like crackheads. Because they're not a part of society. They don't have any accountability to anyone, not even themselves. Like, if nothing else, I want to go home to like throw my panties in the air, you know? And like listen to my music and watch my films. Like, those are things that I like to do. And I pay my rent so I can do that. That shit has nothing to do with anyone else, right? Like, fuck what anyone else is doing. Whatever their priorities are, they should do that. I don't care, you know? I don't care. I don't care. Also, I think we just need to be very clear about, like, who is wealthy and who's not. Because I think some of y'all are out here thinking dudes with cars and cell phones are wealthy. And those dudes are broke. This is fucking America. Everybody has it. And let's also not believe that, like, living in Oakland is not cheap. So we need to stop, like, affiliating, like, Oakland with poverty. Like, most of y'all cannot afford a $3,000 a month apartment. So I don't know how you're out here calling Oakland poor, like, or ghetto or something. It's like, bro, you can't even afford to live there. You know it's ghetto? Pittsburgh, Antioch. Honestly, you can get an apartment in Walnut Creek for $2,000 a month. I think it's even cheaper than that. It's like $1,700 a month. So that's half the price of Oakland, okay? Like, if you even have access to Oakland or fucking Berkeley at this point, you're lucky. You're lucky. Especially the people who are still living off of fucking public housing vouchers. Fuck you, because you really lucked out. Not the point. I just think people have shit mixed up. And really, The most important thing is for everyone, if you honestly have the time to watch this shit, you should probably get a life. Or if you just like watching my content, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And I really do, like, I guess I want to sit here and talk for the girls who are coming after me. The girls who are in high school right now, the Habesha girls who are like, I just want to know what it's going to be like when I get to be Libby's age. I just want to be here so you can watch it and be like, this is what it's like. And you can be like, ooh, Libby fucked up here. Her skin didn't look good this day. Oh my God, her nails were awful. She should have got this job instead of that job. Critique all that shit and then be better than me. But I'm just saying, I'm here because I set the bar hella high. Like, just remember, you don't have an internship at the New York Times. I did. Like, we're not the same, bro. Like, because honestly, if you were on my level, you wouldn't be watching this right now. You would be writing them articles, and you're not. And you're not. So, yeah. Ooh, Kenya has a new video. I love her. Also, yeah, I guess I just realized like how few black girls are making content that's like them having opinions about shit. And y'all know I have opinions about shit. I have opinions about fucking everything all the time. Like, just because I don't say those opinions out loud every day doesn't mean that like I don't have the opinions or that they changed or that like, I don't know, I went quiet. I didn't. I just probably felt like, oh, I don't want to offend someone, because sometimes I feel like that. I just feel bad for offending other people, but as I get older, I'm really starting to realize that other people's feelings don't matter more than my own. It's really fuck their feelings, because people will talk about their hurt feelings like they're broken bones with the same severity. It's just like, bitch, you're upset because you didn't get a phone or something, or like you're upset because like I cut you in line at the supermarket. You didn't die. Your life is not in danger. This is why I always talk about it. It's like the Karen complex. It's a whole bunch of shit that doesn't matter that people are like pushing to the forefront. And so what the fuck are they talking about? It's like ridiculous. Like, to me, it's also like the one thing I've seen, and I'm just saying, having lived in like the valley and the suburbs for so long, the more time that I spend out here, the more I just realize it's just like a whole bunch of like basic ass people who have never been anywhere. It's like everyone just tried to create like little mocks of themselves by like having hella children in a space that is relatively safe. But also remember, and I've said this before, globalism. The people who are actually competing in the like fair market economy are the New Yorkers and like the Berkelayans. It's everybody who already grew up in a global space, a global international space where you are not calling all black people black, or like you're affiliating, even not even to be funny, but like being African with being black, because Africa is a fucking continent with 54 countries. Okay, it's fucking bigger than America. Like, there are more black people on the planet. There's only 600 million white people on the planet in general. Like, they're not gonna last that long. There's just not enough of them. Like, on the whole planet, like planet Earth, there's like 2 billion Asian people on planet Earth. Like, it's insane. And everyone is about to have a fucking cell phone. The only reason people like, I don't know, really any white entertainers are relevant is because they've all had access to cell phones and the internet. And so they get streams because other people who want to see themselves and be like, I'm white, so I want to see somebody else white on the screen. And we all have cell phones, so let's do it. And nobody's opposing. But that's because people like me weren't born yet. This was the issue when I saw the I Love Lucy movie last night. I didn't realize that bitch was dead. She died in 1989. Why are they still playing this shit? It's because all they have are like memories of when the world's really America mainstream media was white, and it's dead and gone. It's gone. It's dead. It's never coming back. Those are not even the good old days. I don't know. They were awful. Like, Jim Crow was never good for really anyone, and it gave a false premise to white children that they owned anything in society. Like, it was bad for everyone, to be honest. Right? Like, we should have white history that's like mandated in this country, I swear to God. And we also need like a fresh off the boat immigrant class too, because like this shit is insane. Like, nobody knows how to function here. They all think that they're like backwards ass like cultural practices mean something, and the religious propaganda is supposed to hold. Honestly, all of it just wears me the fuck down every day. It's like, for a moment I thought about like, maybe I should be ethical and just show my face in church to just say, if nothing more, on like a pure, I don't know, ritual standpoint, that like I understand the 10 Commandments, even though I don't agree with the hypocrisy of the institution of a church. It's kind of like, I do want to like show up and be like, yes, but I believe in moral ethics and the ability for individuals to make correct choices. Maybe showing up consistently would say that. But people assume that since I wear black and have an afro, that means what, I'm anti-Christian? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Why don't they say the person who shot up a church, or like the white kid who shoots up a school, why don't they say he's anti-Christian? He literally took life. Why don't they say the judges that didn't convict him, those people are anti-Christian? They're breaking laws and taking real lives. And the sad part is, it's just more and more white children who are going to die from it. Isn't that sad? We should make a series on it and call it like, When Racism Goes Wrong. And like, the whole premise is like, criminalize black children, and then white children show up with AK-49s to like the suburban high school. Like, even I couldn't have assumed it would be like this. It's insane. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else to say. I also think I put way too much cheese in the salad. It's not that good. I did kind of want to check out some more of the shops in the mall. Maybe I'll do that. There's always something to buy. There's always something to buy. Okay, let's close that.